He topped it after all the shenanigans with Marc Marquez. He wasn't bothered about it. He only missed out by 0.03 of a second on Quattro, had it not been for a mistake coming out the final corner. And then, of course, he said yesterday, luckily, he got pitched forward and not skywards, because it could have been very, very painful.
At the moment, Matt, he's doing exactly what is asked of him as a Pramac Ducati rider. He's on the podium in most races, and that's what
he's of racing Fabio Quattararo for the win today, although he wasn't alone in that category, was he? Transformed Oliveira and Brad Binder's fortune to late. Oliveira goes from the head of the second row days ago in Mugello.
Really so much of a victim, though, was it, in Q1, as he decided to follow and do his business from 13th on the grid.
Yeah, Jack knew it was coming. They had a great moment, didn't they? Sense of humour. Is that Marc Marquez just scrubbing in a rain tyre there?
I don't know what his weather app is saying.
For Mobile on Friday night, and they'd had a joke saying that he might be following Jack at some point. So Fabio Quattararo at his beloved Barcelona. Heavy skies here in Barcelona. Some information
in front of his garage, and I mean, it was looking like sitting on it, like swing arm pivot height, completely different than the bike he's just left on. So morning, find the last
ring arm pump surgery he had immediately after Le Mans. It didn't really trouble him too much. He had it done in Mugello. They couldn't do it with the same regularity here this weekend because of the risk of infection. But arm had popped, and there was actually fluid draining out of his arm. Sorry if you're still having your breakfast at home, folks.
But good luck to Aleix Espargaro here today. Now, Joan Mir, there are so many riders, 7 or 8 riders. Ken Carucci, of course, will be hoping that Mir can do that. He's riding solo this weekend for Suzuki if you're tuning weekend. Mir definitely has the speed, but again, he's on the 4th row.
Yeah, and not particularly a little bit frustrated with the performance of this year's GSX-RR. He alluded to it yesterday. In my bike, it's practically the same as I was riding last season. He says this
a moment ago.
Yep, I want to say I was wrong. He did an outlap on him, and the swing arm pivot change, I must have missed it sometime yesterday.
Info and update, Simon. Quarter of an hour then in this session to go. Miller fastest so far with a 41.3, but the free practice 4, he had a run out on both and was equally as fast. I think most believed he might have that hard rear on, so clearly not made his mind up yet.
Yeah, he was very torn, wasn't he, between the torn. He said the medium rear, well, the hard rear tyre rather, doesn't give him entry grip like he needs. He even said if it was going to be cooler like it is now under this heavy cloud cover, he's not completely ruled out. Starting from 9th, the back of the 3rd row, he's got to be aggressive and fast in those first 2 or 3 laps to try critical in the race a little bit later on this afternoon. It does look like most guys will either go for the medium or the hard, but these cooler conditions, medium, it's that fine balance, isn't it, here in Barcelona? Not a lot of grip around on this famous performance and endurance. I don't think any rider last night, Steve, on the entire grid had made
the last few GPs. Was that an error from Maverick Vinales we were on board with there? He's fastest in this morning warm-up. He's got excellent pace. He starts from 6th on the grid. Franco Morbidelli also here today. He's 5th on the grid. And some good news at last for Valentino Rossi fans as well. It doesn't look like he starts 11th later on. Now, Matt was just talking about the tyre dilemma for this weekend. It seems Sport Boss. He's with Simon.
He is, Piero. We've just been talking about tyres, how important thing.
Yes, here it looks like the choice about race tire is more, they give you different feeling. We saw the rear hard running. You just need to put the temperature on, so you need the first 2 laps, the warm-up traction area is very strong, but you miss a little bit of grip on the better compared to the hard. But in traction area, also the consistency, 2 different characteristics. The rear soft, I don't think will be an option for the race. Temperature is around 30 degrees or less, so we can see all 3 by also medium or hard. If it's temperature quite on the front, the hard on the front, it gives you just more support over hard braking.
In that hard rear, you think?
Yeah, you need 2 laps, and then
a quick bike swap there for Jack Miller. Hopefully we won't need to be seeing that later on this Sunday.
Yeah, no surprise to see Maverick Vinales doing his work this morning on the medium rear tyre. He was pretty up with the hard rear tyre. You lose too much grip, it destroys his corner speed. And if you've got no corner speed, he doesn't go for the medium combination. A little bit later on, Marc Marquez and some of the other goes to a 39.850. Honda just cannot get the power to the ground. They can't get it hooked up the rear. It's a tough weekend for Alex Marquez. He's qualified 2nd last for his home Grand Prix. Nakagami, RO2 on that long run to turn 1.
Yeah, and Binder, his teammate, also in the top 10 yesterday, 8th on the start this morning. They found something in the early stages here for Taka Nakagami, P1, medium front.
Because he's been quite strong in terms of the longer distance runs. It's the initial grip where the Honda, although like everybody's saying, Franco Morbidelli said it doesn't matter what tyre you pick, there's going to be a massive drop-off over the weekend in terms of distance runs on those tyres, whichever one he picks, medium or hard rear.
He is then next, 1 o'clock local time here in Barcelona for them, and Moto2 will be. Yara, of course, looking to bounce back from the disappointment of his home Grand Prix last week. He starts tonight. No late turn-ups with Simon.
Four was one of the most impressive I've seen for a while from him, looking really strong in these three. Although qualifying didn't go great, he sounds relatively confident. What do you think?
Because the tyre will have for sure drop riders on Yamaha level like before. I think this year is on question mark.
Thank you, David.
Upping up, Steve, throughout the paddock, Oliveira. A lot of people fancy the Portuguese man. You've got early laps because you risk burning up those tyres and having your pace drop off a cliff towards the end of the race, and they don't come much more. It's not the starting revelation from fourth, but I think he's got the style. This afternoon, Fabio Quartararo last year on lap 9 did a 1:41.42, deviated by 3 seconds in the space of 14-15 laps, and this man nearly got it. New bikes for the Grand Prix later on. I mean, just unnecessary. I mean, it was just backed out of it, dropping out of the tyre too much, and down he goes, Simon.
I think he did right. Coolest temperature of the whole weekend, and he might have been able to get away with it before on the left side.
That we have overhead, a big error then at the end of morning warm-up for Maverick Vinales. Valentino Rossi's just popped out on circuit with a brand new hard rear as well. Looks like he's not quite coming later on. Perhaps his first top 10 coming of the season. Should be a solid top 10 opportunity for Valentino later on.
Taka Nakagama is turning out to be the fastest in the warm-up here in Barcelona as well. Fantastic to see fans. Legendary Hasil circuit for the Dutch DT in a couple of weeks' time. Great to go back to the championship schedule. Checker flag is out there. Fabio Quartararo, he'll be happy with that 5th place. Does tyre for Quartararo. Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. You can just see that's going to frustrate Maverick Vinales because it was a crash. The pre-race boost for the Japanese man on the Idemitsu LTR Honda. He's had his problems this weekend with rear grip in particular in a positive warm-up session. All the slightly cooler conditions of the stage.